Hey, question. What do you think you get if you have an FINOW X1 crossed with a FINOW X5? Well, you're about to find out in this brand new unveiling of the latest FINOW fine watches, the Q3. Greetings and welcome to Smartwatch Ticks. We are ripping into the first ever seen brand new FINOW blended watch that not only is it going to be a combination of the two watches we just talked about, the FINOW X1 and the X5, but you ready for this? It's going to be less expensive than either of them. It's going to be a great way to get into a large display equivalent to the X5 sized watch with one button of the X1 at a really, really good price. I mean, we're talking well under $100. Whoa! Maybe like $80, $90 US. Whoa, that's a bright silver. Wow, I gotta put sunglasses on. Okay, here it is, the Q3. Well, oh, I'm happy. Okay, we'll talk about that, but I see a brand new hole. I'm always happy when I see something new. Yay! Okay, oh gosh, this is better than I thought already. There is the leather band. We've got a microphone hole over here. We've got the promised one button over there. We've got a silver, bright silver watch body, which also is available in black. It's got little tick marks here, you know, at the 5-minute markers and a little triangle at the top. That's different than what we've seen on the other ones, which are kind of polished and smooth. This is kind of a matted surface. This is definitely highly reflective silver. It's the same size as the original X5. The screen is also AMOLED, M-I-C-K-E-Y, AMOLED, bright display, which we'll see when we turn it on. And again, it's less money than this one or this one. And it does a lot. Let's turn it on and see what it does. Oh, no. We've got to look at the rest of the stuff in the box. You're right. Don't skip anything. Oh, wow, it's got an extra little tray compartment here with the black screwdriver, which means we must have screws in here. We've got the charging cable. You know, I used to get one of these, then two. Now look at this. I think this was like the catch-all. Oh, let's see. I think we could play heads or tails with all of these. Thank you, guys. I think FINOW is playing a trick on me. You know, they send me these engineering prototypes, and now they're going to see, what's he going to do when we stuff it? Nothing. Okay. But that is cute. Thanks. What do we got? We've got this little charging dock. Now, why I was excited at the very beginning is because of this. You see that little pin? We've had some issues with all the different charging docks. Just to grab another one to show you over here. This is the FINOW X1 Plus watch right here, which is the same size as the X1, but it's the Plus. So anyway, it's charging dock. Whoa! Oh, there it is. Okay, it's charging dock with all the cutouts and everything, you know, to support the watch. But it's got the 4 pins. Now, fortunately, FINOW's docks are pretty darn good. These are spring-loaded, so they're all the same size. But this is even better. It's a nice, thin little thing. Just enough room to plug the cable in. And it's got this pin, which lets you align it and make sure that it drops right in there and locks in perfectly. It's right there, and it's done. I don't know about you, but if you've ever tried to put this thing on, one of these on, and you don't get it lined up just right, and you get up in the morning and the watch is not charged, that is not a good thing. Now, the previous style was to have these lips and edges so that you kind of lined it up with the button, you know, the one button on the X1 kind, or the the 2 buttons on the X3 kind. By the way, this is the X3 Plus, so we got a video on both of those. So yeah, we get the whole X. Anyway, yeah, this same thing. It lines up sort of like that, holds good, and the pins are solid. But moving to this new technology of a nice flat thing that has the support pin is great. Absolutely great. You know, you could get like a shot glass or something and set the dock on that plugged in, and at night you can just put this on your table and let the edges dangle over and charge the whole thing up. And wow, very good. Thank you. Good design. I don't even have a manual on this because it's so new. Another engineering prototype here. It hasn't hit the market yet. It will sometime, and then you'll be able to get it. Oh, by the way, check the notes at the bottom for information on how to get this watch. We always try to get you the best price and availability on it. This is the unboxing then of the brand new Q3. You ready to turn it on now? All right. I hope there's a charge. We'll see. There should be. There you go. Because I tell you, they got this in as an engineering prototype, and they probably had an office party and a cake and sandwiches, and everybody gathered around to play with it. They messed around with it, they checked it out, and then they sent it to me to show off to you. So it's already had its rounds with everyone, and now we're getting a first chance to take a look at it. And it's booting up with this FINOW logo and all the good information with it. Now, I did hear that the watch faces aren't set on this yet, so we're going to skip all that because there's going to be a firmware update. Again, this is an engineering prototype. But we'll walk through, and we're going to do the Antutu test and all that good stuff so you can get a feel for it. It comes with its stock watch face, but that's basically all there is. Now, when we scroll to the left, we get the notifications panel, just like all the other watches. When you scroll to the right, the music player, the heart rate and pedometer. There's the heart rate indicator in the back. It's the 2-diode kind, which is from the original design. The newer ones, the Plus series, is the 3-diode kind. By the way, I mentioned this is an inexpensive watch. It's as low as $80 to $90 US. As a result of that, this is not the equivalent of the Plus, so you're not getting the high memory or the high processor. This is much, much more like the original X1 or the X5 in terms of its innards, all right? So it's in that line. There will probably be a Q3 Plus coming out in the future with the bump up in the memory, the Android 5.1, all that stuff. But for now, we'll check it in just a moment. Should be Android 4.4 with the half a gigabyte of RAM and 4 gigabytes of ROM. We'll double check all that. Anyway, heart rate and pedometer when you go to the right, and then the weather. So all of the basic core software is the same as what we've seen before. Sliding down doesn't go anywhere. Sliding up brings up the panel where you can turn on your Wi-Fi. Oh, good, we got a good battery charge. The Wi-Fi, the Bluetooth, and your tethering. It's the same basic software as what we've got in each of these. But it's got the big screen of the X5, okay? The exact same screen in that large format, but with one single button instead of 3, and at a discounted price. All right, I've said that way too much. Let's see where we are. There's that. When you go down, nothing. Oh yeah, that. When you come up, nothing. That's typical. When you touch it, that's when you go into your apps. And of course, the app layout is the same. I don't know if you can see this, but that screen is really, really cool. It's got, it's kind of pixelated, but I don't mean in the way that you can see the dots that you normally see. It's got a sheen to it. It's, wow, I haven't seen anything like that. It's interesting, very interesting. I don't know if it's picking it up. I doubt it on the video. Anyway, phone, messages, contacts, and settings. I'm going to run into settings here for a moment. I'm going to go into display. I want to change that brightness a little bit so it doesn't bloom too much on the screen. An AMOLED screen, I mean, we can turn the brightness like way down on here. We can get it even darker if we install that app called Display Brightness. We've talked about that in other videos. But for right now, the all the way off is like still really bright. And look at that from the side, you can see it. The other thing I need to do is make sure it sleeps after 30 minutes and not 15 seconds. Okay, there we go. For display, you got your connectivity. This is new, emergency contact. I presume you can program in an emergency number and probably press and hold or double press or some process to automatically call that emergency contact. And you put in the contact's number and save it, and then it can go in and do that. Now, you will need the SIM card, I'm sure, for that. That won't be working tethered to your phone, which really wouldn't work well in an emergency anyway, right? Because you're kind of in an emergency. You don't want to have to say, oh, wait a minute, let me get my phone tethered here. The power savings mode that you can turn it on. You can have that open, flip, bright screen thing. That's when it turns off, and then you flip it and it'll turn on. And off screen, automatically disconnected. That's the same as on all the others, and my understanding is that turns off things like your radios, your Wi-Fi, and your Bluetooth and stuff. So if you've got it tethered and you're streaming music and you don't want the music to stop, you uncheck that. But if you're just using it to tell time and stuff, and you want it to save power, you can disconnect from your connected sources by unchecking that, which is typically what I like to do. Okay, language and input is the same. Device management, reset, uninstall your applications, and about devices where we want to go first. Here's where we would do the wireless update if there's any firmware updates, and there probably will be initially with this one. As we go down, we see that it is the Model Q3 running Android 4.4.2. There's the baseband version and the kernel version. It's August the 25th, Thursday of this year, 2016. The build version and the custom build version, August 25th, 2016. Okay, your firmware will be different. This is the initial beta firmware that's in here, and I've already got a new one to flash on its way. So once we get it stable and everything, we'll be able to show you more, like on the watch faces, and if there's been any boost up in the Antutu scores, that kind of stuff. But for right now, it's pretty much running just the basic core software. The health takes you, of course, to the page we already saw. Weather will do the same thing. Music will do the same thing. There's your alarms, your sound recorder. I always like to play with this so we can check it. But you know what? Before we go in there, let's get back up here to the volume and make sure we got the volume boosted up. Nothing worse than testing something you can't hear, and it's all because the volume was too low. So our volumes. Whoop. All right, now we got the volumes up good. We're going to go play in the recorder. Whoa, I know, we're just in the settings. Okay, and we come down to the sound recorder. Hello, everybody. I'm talking to you through a brand new Q3 FINOW smartwatch blend of the Q1, the X1 and the X5, a large screen with a single button. Okay, saved and recording files. Hello, everybody. I'm talking to you through a brand new Q3 FINOW smartwatch blend of the Q1, the X1 and the X5, a large screen with a single button. And there we go. It's pretty good. It's nice and loud. Can hear it, but again, volume's cranked all the way up. Your Watch Helper app is where you're going to get the information on how to tether to your phone. We're still not good on the tethering. It's really a standalone watch. Not perfect by any means for tethering. You're not going to be able to talk in and hear your phone calls out of here without putting a SIM card in. But this is the QR code thing that you would scan to find the app that you download into your phone so that you can tether and connect the two together. and that's part of that watch helper. I guess I could just keep pushing the button to go back here. The App Store is the small app store that you can download specialty apps that's maintained, in the China servers. It's not the Google Play Store. Your basic barometer that you've seen in these watches, a basic browser. There's the calendar. Usually the calendar is pretty simple, and it just shows you the month. You can't get into it. By the way, there's a trick. If you want to put the Google Calendar, for example, on here, there's a thing or two you've got to do first, and disable this one so that you can install the Google one and it'll work fine for you. We'll watch our other videos or ask a question about it, and we'll try to refer you to the right information on that. Your downloads folder, if you download anything, it's usually empty. And then, of course, your file manager. Now we can check the memory on here. We have used 800K and have 2.18 available, which means, adding the two together, we got about 2.8 gigabytes. 2.8? That's interesting. Because 4 gigabytes total in the ROM, which means your operating system is taking up some, the overlay software is, and so the user available amount is a little over 2 gigabytes. The 800K is probably being used for things like these folders and whatever's in them. All right, the stuff that comes with it. Imagine ringtones takes up a lot, and there's our little recording that we just made too. So it's got some stuff in there. But that's the memory. So it's a half a gigabyte of RAM and 4 gigabytes of ROM. Google Play Store, we're all familiar with that. That's how we'll download the apps, and of course your voice search. Just like the other ones, you go in here, you can wipe the ones that have been loaded completely out, or you hit close all, and it closes everything out. All right? Many reviews on all of the other FINOW watches covering the basic software. If you want to see any of those in detail, just take a look at any of those other reviews. We go into each and every one of these categories, and they're identical. What is unique and new is this watch platform. It is a large AMOLED display in an attractive body with a single button, leather band, and a new dock connector that makes it really easy to charge this thing. All right, we'll be back with a little bit more, like the ANTUTU score. Check it all out. So what about those ANTUTU scores? Well, here is the original X1. Now, it's a fully loaded watch. I got a lot of things running, stuff running in the background. You see that little dot there, the floating toucher. There's other things, a swipe up. All of that stuff loads the system down a bit. Typically, a brand new one's going to get over 10,000, maybe 10,200. But right now, with this X1 fully loaded, booting up and running it, I'm getting 9765. With the X5, again, fully loaded, I'm getting 9890, and a brighter screen because I got the brightness up. I'm not even sure where the display brightness is on this one to turn it down. Yeah, we'll leave it like that. Yeah, you see there's things like that are just running. So the scores are obviously going to get a little bit lower than fresh out of the box. However, we are going to do a fresh out of the box with our brand new one. But first, check that out. This is the X1 Plus, okay? So you can see that when you bump it up to a higher CPU and much more memory, this thing will really fly. So if you're really looking for a very fast watch and you've got a budget to support it, the X1 Plus, the X3 Plus are coming out real soon, and they've got really good ANTUTU scores. As far as what we have in our brand new watch, well, we're ready to give it a try. See what we come up with. Again, you can download ANTUTU. Just go to the Google Play Store and search on ANTUTU. You're going to download the basic ANTUTU benchmarking app and a 3D app that goes along with it, because it's an intensive thing that it's switching to right now, a graphics tester. And usually in these Android 4.4 watches with a lower amount of RAM, it won't run the graphics process test. And the bump up to the plus units, yeah, it'll run at least one of those graphics tests. But this, again, is the same processor and same memory as we find in the original X1 and X5 in the Q3 now. So I'm guessing we're going to get an Antutu score probably in the neighborhood of 10,100-ish. It takes quite a while, so I'm going to come back with the final number now. Yes, look at that, 10,100. So, unloaded, nothing else on it, just a little over 10,000. Fully loaded with lots of software and things running, you're coming in at 9,800. All right? So what you basically have is an X5 watch with one button. Lose the other two buttons, shave off several bucks, and you've got basically the same watch, the same leather band, the same processor, the same memory, everything. It's a nice watch. It's a shiny silver. Again, you can get it in black. It's got the upgraded dock to it. No, you cannot change the bands. Don't even ask. It's just like all the others. There's antennas in the bands. You like the leather? You got it. You want something different? This is not the watch for you. Nor is this, nor is that, nor that one or that one. These all have leather bands, and they are not removable. All right? What else do I always get asked? How's the battery life? I just opened it. I have no idea. You know what? I've given up on trying to do battery tests, folks. What I suggest is let's look in the comments down below each watch, because a lot of users are starting to report their battery life cycle and whether or not it's good and whether they're having any problems. So check out the comments about battery life. Oh, and that little pixelizing thing I was seeing there earlier, again, I don't know if you can see it or not. There is a screen protector on here. There's a really, really good one. It's on there. You don't even see any bubbles. I'm not going to take this one off. I'm going to try it. I noticed that it's a little sticky on the slide, but it's very responsive. So there's a really good screen protector, and it kind of makes the screen bubble a little bit. And I actually like that. It gives it kind of some flair. Any other questions? Good. Class dismissed. Enjoy it. Oh, yeah. Check the comments down below. All right. We're going to have buying links from you. And definitely get in line, because I think this is going to be a hot watch. I like it better than my longtime best friend, the X5 that I've been using forever, because I like the single button style. And it's the same watch. So going to play with this quite a bit. Alrighty, we'll see you again. Lots more coming. Okay, I'm not ready to go yet, I guess. I'm back again with some little more information. First of all, the specs on this watch. Here they are. This is the information. It's a 400 by 400 1.39-inch AMOLED display. It's running the original processor with original memory in it, an Android 4.4. It's got all the good frequencies you need and a nano SIM card supported with the heart rate monitor, pedometer, and all of these things too. Now, dimension-wise, can you guys see this? This watch is 13 millimeters thick, and then there's the other dimensions. I know a lot of you ask, how big is it? What does it look like on? Well, like this. Here's the watch. Kind of lay it on me. That's what it looks like. It looks really like the basic FINOW X5, but without those two extra buttons, because it's the same size. Now, I just got the firmware update from FINOW, and also the link to their webpage where they're selling this in pre-sale right now, directly from FINOW. At 90 bucks, folks. I mean, this is going to be an inexpensive watch. It really is, especially for an AMOLED large screen watch. With that firmware update came these watch faces. This is the standard one that just boots up, and there weren't any more. Now we have these installed. Now, one thing interesting that FINOW is doing is they're giving us different watch faces. Up until now, they're basically the same exact watch faces across all of the different watches. And what you had to do was download the designer watch faces in order to have variety. And that's kind of complicated for some people. So FINOW's taking a leap and going out there and actually installing alternative watch faces to the classic ones. And they're also inviting the community to participate. And I'll tell you about that in just a minute. So what you're seeing here on the Q3 are completely different watch faces than what we've been seeing on the other watches. And they're pretty nice. A lot of variety. Now, I just flashed this, so everything is wrong. The date's wrong, the time's wrong. 92% battery, that's probably the only thing that's right on it. But just to give you an idea, and I don't know if you can see in the darkness, but there is actually the 1, 2, 4, and 5, very, very dim, but nonetheless there, which shows you the quality of that AMOLED screen. It's really amazing. Another circular watch face. Some of these look similar, modified to some of the stock watch faces that we've seen before, and some of them look like they're brand new designs. I know FINOW has an in-house design team or person or group that are working on their own watch skins, and they're also, like I said, engaging the community to participate in providing watch faces, not only for this watch, but for the future watches that are yet to come. And yes, I'll leak it out of the bag. There is an upcoming follow-on to the X5. We've all been talking about an X5 Plus. Something's in the works. Not here yet, not official yet, but something's in the works. This Q3 is kind of that first step in that direction, because we have the X5 size with a single button, but still with the same memory and processor as the X5. You notice they're getting some things now that have rotating things going on in it, tiny little stuff. Here's one with the turbo blade. Now, I remember seeing a lot of these in the old early days of the original XDA clock face forum, where we were all trying to figure out how do you make these watch faces. Somebody posted that turbo blade, and it sounded interesting. That looks like the second hand going around there. And so a bunch of folks went off in all different directions and made these turbo blade type watches. This is another one that's supposed to have like a combination lock or something, and the arrows are pointing to the time rather than the numbers changing. I remember that back then too. Everybody was trying to figure out, how do you make a clockwise or counterclockwise minute rotation, hour rotation? Oh my goodness, the good old days. Now people are doing it there's a whole computer program out there to make these watch faces. So very, very simple and quick. So if you're interested and you like to get into doing watch faces and possibly see your work show up on a watch like this, where a customer just turns it on right out of the box and there's your watch face of one of the selection that's available. In just a moment, I'll tell you how you can do that. In the meantime, there you go, a nice, simple, plain, just the time, ma'am, kind of a watch. You can see how good you can see the screen at the side, too. That's a nice one to demo that on. And a few more. Another rotating fan blade kind of concept. Now, here's where there's a mismatch between the thumbnail and the actual watch face. Notice there's no second hand here, but I think we saw... It looks like a second hand there. So, yeah, these are projects that folks have been playing with and maybe didn't quite get it all completely updated properly. The Transformers one. Come back here. There you go. I know I've seen that one on either the G Plus community or the XDA forum or something. So there's a hodgepodge of watch faces here. This is a nice one. I like this one with the curved day of the week on the top, and the small date, very simplistic. And then, of course, that's the general ones. And then, when you go one more to the right, you have the plus sign. And if we're connected to the network, which we're not, you can hit the plus sign, it'll access the server, and a whole bunch more watch faces appear over there. And you can just tap on them, and it'll download them and say install, and it will install it. And they will appear next to all of these with a little circle with a minus sign on the top. So if you want to get rid of it, you just touch the minus sign. But they will be added to all of these standard stock watch faces. So for right now, with the latest firmware update on this early engineering design watch, these are the watch faces we have to play with. There may be complete changes, updates, additions, and deletions between the time you're looking at it now and the time you actually get yours. And there's a possibility that your watch face could show up on the Q3 or a future watch like an X5 Plus. So how do you do that? Well, first you got to design a watch face. And we have videos out on that, so just check our channel for the videos on how to design a watch face. Once you have it, I got 3 ways for you that you could participate in sending in your watch faces. The first one is directly to FINOW at their website, finowwatch.com, through this email. Address it to watchfaces@finowwatch.com. In the text, say that you give permission for them to use your watch face on watches, either directly or through that plus sign. Just basically, you have permission, my permission to use my watch face on your products. And make sure you, of course, attach the folder with all of the code to upload. It's probably best if you zip that file so that the files in the folder are all zipped and attached. It's going to be less than 25 megabytes. In fact, it's really good if you can keep it less than 1 megabyte. Even a half a megabyte is good, because these all take up space on the watch, and the ones that'll get selected are ones that are lightweight. Don't make them heavy. Take everything out you don't need. Send it directly if you want to send it in. If you'd like to give broader permission for anybody to use these watches, not just FINOW, but who knows, Kingware, number 1, ZGPAX, I don't know, Samsung, Apple. Anyway, there's a place here called, a folder called Commercial Use Faces at the Round Android Smartwatches, ROMs, Faces, and FAQs. It's a G+ community. Google that, and you will see it. Go into it, and on the left-hand side, you'll see Commercial Use Faces. And you can basically sign in to your Google account, and be part of that, register, or subscribe, and post your watch face link through your Google Drive to here. You'll see how other people have done it, and place it or tag it for the Commercial Use Faces. And that's automatically set up and designed for watch companies to know that any watch faces that show up there are public domain, basically. They are being made available by you to the community, including the commercial watch faces, to be used as they want to for purposes of giving customers more watch faces to play with, right? The third way is under development, but there is a thing coming up. It's at roundandroidwatches.proboards.com. It's a migration from the G+ community to this ProBoards. It's in the works right now. It's under development. In there, there'll be an area as well that you can participate in by putting your watch face designs in the commercial use area of the ProBoards. To get in here, to see that stuff, to add to it, to make your postings, you have to register. So this is going to be a tight community of people that are seriously participating. It's not really open to just drop in and peruse. This is the basic G+ community. Anybody can go in and take a look at, and those that are registered or have a G+ can make comments and postings. And of course, this is private. If you just want to send your creation, sight unseen, nobody knows, off to FINOWwatch, to FINOW, at this address, you can. Once again, this is just for submitting watch faces. This is not someplace to ask questions. Where's my product? I can't get a refund. My battery doesn't last. None of that stuff goes here. It won't even be addressed. It's strictly for receiving watch faces that FINOW is given permission to use in their dance of watch faces. Okay? So, with that said, this is it. This is the Q3. And I've had it for a day now, and I got to tell you, it feels like home. It really does. It is a nice watch. I'm enjoying the heck out of it. When it's off and you do that little flip to turn on thing, it does what it's supposed to do. Hopefully I've got it set. It comes on, it stays on for a few seconds, and then it fades out. just the way it should be. I like the dial. I was a little kind of, I don't know, all that ticky stuff around the edges, but you know what? It just, I highlight now. It adds to the watch, and boy, is it brilliant reflective silver as well. So check the links down below. You can jump on board right now with FINOW Direct and order yourself one and get it in the queue to be shipped, because it's going to be released really soon. It's in the pre-release stage right now, and we are excited about this one because this brings in a whole brand new watch platform we haven't seen before. The big round one button type watch. All right. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later.